You wake slowly, gently, to the soft rustle of morning air through your simple window. The scent of olive groves drifts in, carried on the cool breeze that whispers across the hills of Attica. Your eyes flutter open, and you find yourself lying on a simple recline, a wooden bed frame with woven rope supports, just as the philosophers of ancient Athens would have slept. The room around you is modest, peaceful, with whitewashed walls that glow softly in the early morning light. A small clay oil lamp sits on a wooden table nearby, its flame long since extinguished, leaving only the gentle fragrance of olive oil in the air. You breathe deeply, inhaling the clean, crisp air of an Athenian morning. The year is 420 BCE, and you are in the home of Socrates, the greatest philosopher Athens has ever known. The walls are bare, save for a single wooden shelf holding a few precious scrolls, papyrus texts that contain the wisdom of ages. Outside your window, you can hear the gentle cooing of doves, the soft rustling of olive leaves, and the distant sound of water trickling from a small spring. The olive trees stretch out beyond the city walls, their silver-green leaves catching the first golden rays of Helios, the sun god, as he begins his daily journey across the heavens. You sit up slowly, your feet touching the cool stone floor. The stones are smooth, worn by countless years of gentle use, and they feel pleasantly cool against your skin. You can smell the earthy scent of the clay tiles that make up the roof above, mixed with the sweet fragrance of wild thyme that grows between the stones of the courtyard. A simple khitan, a tunic made of fine linen, hangs from a wooden peg on the wall. You rise slowly, moving with the unhurried grace of someone who has learned to find peace in every moment. As you dress, you notice how the fabric feels against your skin, soft and cool, woven by skilled hands in the workshops of the Kerameikos, the potter's quarter of Athens. Through the window, you can see the sacred mount of the Acropolis in the distance, its marble temples catching the morning light like jewels. The Parthenon stands proud and serene, its Doric columns perfectly proportioned, a testament to the mathematical beauty that the Greeks hold so dear. You step into the small courtyard of your home, where a single olive tree grows from the earth. Its gnarled trunk speaks of years, decades, perhaps centuries of life. The olive tree is sacred to Athena, the goddess of wisdom, and it provides both shade and sustenance. Small black olives hang from its branches, ready to be harvested and pressed into the golden oil that lights the lamps of Athens. A simple clay amphora sits in the corner, filled with cool water from the spring of Kalorho. You pour the water into a shallow bronze basin and splash it gently on your face. The water is refreshing, pure, tasting of the mineral-rich earth through which it has traveled. You can hear the soft bleating of goats from a nearby hillside, and the gentle lowing of cattle being led to pasture. The sounds are peaceful, rhythmic, like a lullaby sung by the earth herself. A rooster crows in the distance, not harsh or jarring, but melodious, announcing the new day with quiet dignity. The air is filled with the scent of wild herbs, oregano and mint, thyme and rosemary, growing wild on the hillsides around Athens. These herbs will later be gathered by the women of the household, dried in the sun, and used to flavor the simple meals that sustain the philosopher's life. You move slowly through your morning routine, each action deliberate and mindful. There is no rushing here, no urgency, only the peaceful rhythm of a life lived in harmony with the natural world. You break your fast with a simple meal, a piece of barley bread, still warm from the clay oven, spread with honey gathered from the hives on Mount Hymettus. The honey is golden, translucent, with a flavor that speaks of wild flowers and mountain air. The bees that made it have visited the slopes where wild thyme grows, where the goddess Artemis once hunted, and their honey carries the essence of that sacred place. A small cup of watered wine sits beside your bread, mixed in the proper proportions, 3 parts water to 1 part wine. As is the custom in Athens, the wine is made from grapes grown on the slopes of Mount Pentelicus, where the marble for the Parthenon was quarried. It tastes of sunshine and earth, of the patient care of the vine growers who tend their vines with the same devotion that the philosophers tend their thoughts. As you eat, you contemplate the day ahead. There is no schedule to keep, no appointments to rush toward, only the gentle unfolding of time that allows for deep thought and meaningful conversation. This is the gift of the philosophical life, the freedom to explore the deepest questions of existence without the pressure of worldly concerns. You finish your simple meal and step outside into the courtyard. The sun is now fully risen, but is still early enough that the air remains cool and fresh. The light filters through the leaves of the olive tree, creating patterns of shadow and brightness that dance gently on the ground. A small lizard darts across the warm stones, pausing to bask in a patch of sunlight. Its movements are quick but peaceful, part of the natural rhythm of the morning. You watch it for a moment, appreciating the simple beauty of this small creature, so perfectly adapted to its place in the world. The sounds of the city are beginning to stir, but they are still soft, distant, like the murmur of a gentle stream. Athens is waking slowly, naturally, without the harsh urgency that will come to characterize cities in later ages. The rhythm of life here is tied to the sun, to the seasons, to the natural cycles that have governed human existence since the beginning of time. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs with the clean morning air. The oxygen flows through your body, bringing life and energy to every cell, preparing you for the day of contemplation and discussion that lies ahead. There is something magical about this moment, this transition from sleep to waking, from private reflection to public discourse. The olive tree rustles softly in the morning breeze, its leaves whispering secrets known only to the trees themselves. You listen to this gentle sound, letting it wash over you like a meditation. The Greeks believe that trees have souls, that they are connected to the divine in ways that humans can only dream of understanding. A small bird lands on a branch above your head. A nightingale, perhaps. Though it does not sing, it simply sits, preening its feathers, content to be part of this peaceful morning scene. You watch it for a moment, appreciating its simple presence, its unconscious grace. The bird flies away, disappearing into the olive groves that surround the city. You watch it go, feeling no sadness at its departure, only gratitude for the brief moment of beauty it has shared with you. This is the philosopher's way, to appreciate what is present without clinging to what is passing. You walk slowly back into your home, moving with the unhurried pace of someone who has learned to find meaning in the smallest action. Each step is deliberate, mindful, a meditation in itself. The stone floor feels smooth and cool beneath your feet, worn by countless generations of philosophers who have walked these same paths. You pause by the window, looking out at the Acropolis once more. The marble temples seem to glow in the morning light, their perfect proportions a testament to the human quest for beauty and truth. The Parthenon stands as a symbol of everything that Athens represents: wisdom, democracy, the pursuit of excellence in all things. But there is no urgency to reach these temples, no need to hurry toward the day's activities. The philosophical life is one of patient contemplation, of allowing wisdom to unfold naturally, like the petals of a flower opening to the sun. You feel your breathing slow, your heart rate settling into a peaceful rhythm. The morning air fills your lungs, carrying with it the scents of olive oil and wild herbs, of stone warmed by the sun and earth moistened by the morning dew. These simple sensations ground you in the present moment, connecting you to the eternal rhythms of the natural world. The light in the room grows softer, more golden, as if the sun itself is settling into a more peaceful pace. The shadows lengthen, creating gentle pools of coolness that invite rest and reflection. You feel your eyelids growing heavy, your body relaxing into the comfortable embrace of the morning calm. Outside, the olive leaves continue their gentle rustling, a sound like the whisper of ancient wisdom being passed from one generation to the next. The sound is hypnotic, soothing, drawing you deeper into a state of peaceful contemplation. Your breathing becomes deeper, slower, more rhythmic. Each breath carries away the last vestiges of sleep, replacing them with the clean, fresh energy of the new day. But there is no urgency here, no need to fully awaken, only the gentle transition from one state of being to another. The scent of olive oil drifts through the air, mixing with the fragrance of wild thyme and the earthy smell of sun-warmed stone. These are the scents of ancient Athens, of a world where life moved at the pace of the seasons, where wisdom was valued above wealth, where the pursuit of truth was considered the highest calling. You feel yourself settling deeper into this peaceful state, your mind growing quiet, your thoughts slowing to match the gentle rhythm of your breathing. The morning light filters through the window, soft and golden, creating a warm glow that seems to emanate from within your own being. The sounds of the city continue in the distance, but they are muffled now, distant, like the echo of a conversation taking place in another room. All that matters is this moment, this peaceful transition from sleep to waking, this gentle beginning to a day of philosophical contemplation. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the morning breeze carries the scent of olive groves through your window. You drift, slowly, peacefully, into a state of deep contemplation, where the boundaries between sleeping and waking, between dreaming and thinking, begin to blur. The olive tree outside your window rustles softly, its leaves whispering the ancient wisdom of Athens, and you feel yourself sinking deeper, deeper into the peaceful embrace of philosophical reflection. You drift into a deep, restful state, where the morning light filters through your consciousness like sunlight through olive leaves, and the gentle sounds of ancient Athens lull you into perfect, peaceful contemplation. You stir slowly, gently, as the morning light grows stronger through your window. The peaceful transition from contemplation to action feels natural, unhurried, like the gradual brightening of dawn itself. You rise from your simple bed, your bare feet finding the cool stone floor, and you know that today you will walk through the heart of Athens, the great agora, where the soul of the city comes alive. You dress slowly, deliberately, wrapping your himation, your woolen cloak, around your shoulders. The fabric is rough but warm, woven from the wool of sheep that graze on the hillsides of Attica. It will protect you from the morning chill, though the day promises to be warm and golden. As you step from your home, you breathe deeply of the morning air. The scent of olive oil and baking bread drifts from the nearby houses, mixed with the earthy fragrance of the unpaved streets. The roads of Athens are not paved with stone, but with hard-packed earth that has been walked upon by countless generations of citizens. You begin your slow walk toward the agora, your sandals making soft sounds against the ground. The leather is supple, crafted by skilled artisans in the workshops of the Karameikos, and it protects your feet while allowing you to feel connected to the earth beneath you. The streets of Athens are narrow, winding, designed not for speed but for shade and community. The houses line the roadway, their walls painted white to reflect the heat of the sun, their small windows covered with wooden shutters to keep the interiors cool. Each home has its own small courtyard, where families gather to share meals and stories. As you walk, you pass a small shrine to Hermes, the messenger god who protects travelers and merchants. The shrine is simple, just a small stone altar with a few offerings, figs and barley cakes, left by citizens who seek the god's blessing for their daily journeys. You pause for a moment, not to pray, but to appreciate the quiet devotion of your fellow Athenians. The morning air is filled with the gentle sounds of the city awakening. You hear the soft clatter of pottery from a nearby workshop, the rhythmic pounding of a blacksmith's hammer, the gentle voices of women drawing water from the public fountains. These sounds are not harsh or jarring, but musical, part of the symphony of daily life in Athens. A small group of children runs past you, their laughter bright and clear in the morning air. They are playing with a simple toy, a wooden hoop that they roll with sticks, and their joy is infectious. You smile as you watch them, remembering that play and learning are not separate activities, but different aspects of the same human desire to understand and engage with the world. You continue your walk, passing a small bakery where the aroma of fresh bread fills the air. The baker is an elderly man, thin, his hands dusted with flour, his face lined with years of early mornings and honest labor. He kneads the dough with practiced movements, each motion economical and precise, the result of decades of experience. The bread he makes is simple, made from barley flour and water, with a touch of olive oil and salt. It is the bread that sustains the common people of Athens, nutritious and filling, though not as fine as the wheat bread enjoyed by the wealthy. But there is beauty in this simplicity, in the way the baker's hands shape the dough, in the way the bread emerges from the clay oven, golden and fragrant. You pass a small fountain where women gather to fill their water jars. The fountain is fed by one of the springs that flow from the hills around Athens, and the water is clear and cool, tasting of the limestone rocks through which it has traveled. The women chat quietly as they work, sharing news and gossip, their voices creating a gentle murmur that adds to the peaceful atmosphere of the morning. The water jars they carry are works of art, crafted by skilled potters who have learned their trade from their fathers and grandfathers. The clay is local, dug from the banks of the Athens River, and it has been shaped and fired with techniques that have been passed down through generations. Each jar is unique, bearing the subtle marks of the potter's hands. Yet all are perfectly functional, designed to carry water without waste or spillage. As you walk, you notice the gradual change in the buildings around you. The simple houses of the residential districts give way to larger, more elaborate structures. You are approaching the agora, the heart of Athenian life, where commerce and philosophy, politics and religion, all come together in a magnificent symphony of human activity. The first sign of the agora is the smell, a rich mixture of spices and leather, of fresh fish and olive oil, of incense burning in the temples, and the earthy scent of the thousands of people who gather here each day. It is not an unpleasant smell, but rather the complex perfume of a living city, a place where human life flourishes in all its diversity. You pass beneath the shadow of the Stoa Portiere, the painted porch, one of the great colonnaded buildings that line the agora. The Stoa is a marvel of Greek architecture, its columns perfectly proportioned according to the mathematical principles that govern all beautiful things. The roof provides shade from the sun and shelter from the rain, creating a space where citizens can gather to conduct business or simply to talk. The walls of the Stoa are decorated with paintings, scenes from the great battles that have shaped Athenian history. The Battle of Marathon, where the Athenians defeated the Persians against impossible odds. The Battle of Salamis, where the Athenian fleet saved all of Greece from invasion. These paintings are not mere decoration, but reminders of the courage and sacrifice that have made Athens the greatest city in the world. You walk slowly along the colonnade, your footsteps echoing softly off the marble columns. The stone is from Mount Pentelicus, the same mountain that provided the marble for the Parthenon, and it has a warm, golden color that seems to glow in the morning light. The columns are fluted, their surfaces carved with precision by master craftsmen, and they create a rhythm of light and shadow that is both beautiful and soothing. Merchants are beginning to set up their stalls, but do so quietly, without the harsh cries and aggressive salesmanship that characterize markets in other cities. Here, in Athens, there is a dignity to commerce, a recognition that the exchange of goods is also an exchange of ideas, of stories, of the human connections that bind a community together. You pause to watch a pottery merchant arranging his wares. The vessels are beautiful, ranging from simple cooking pots to elaborate craters, the large bowls used for mixing wine and water at symposiums. Each piece is handcrafted, shaped on the potter's wheel by skilled hands, then decorated with scenes from mythology or daily life. The black figure technique, where black silhouettes are painted on a red clay background, creates images of gods and heroes, of athletes and warriors, of ordinary people going about their daily lives. The merchant notices your interest and smiles, but he does not pressure you to buy. Instead, he speaks quietly about the pieces, explaining the techniques used to create them, the stories they tell, the ways they connect the user to the rich traditions of Greek culture. This is the Athenian way, to value knowledge and beauty above mere profit, to recognize that every transaction is an opportunity for education and enlightenment. You continue your walk, passing a stall where a farmer is selling fresh vegetables. The produce is simple but beautiful: onions and garlic, cucumbers and radishes, lettuce and herbs. The farmer has grown these vegetables on the fertile plains outside Athens, tending them with the same care that the philosophers tend their thoughts. Each vegetable is perfect in its own way, a testament to the farmer's skill and patience. The farmer's hands are rough from years of work in the fields, but his eyes are gentle and intelligent. He speaks with quiet pride about his produce, explaining the best ways to prepare each vegetable, the seasons when they are at their peak, the ways they can be combined to create nourishing meals. There is wisdom in his words, the deep knowledge that comes from a lifetime of working closely with the earth. You breathe deeply, inhaling the fresh scents of the vegetables, mixed with the warm smell of the earth still clinging to their roots. These are the foods that sustain the people of Athens. Simple, wholesome, grown in harmony with the natural cycles of the seasons. There is beauty in this simplicity. in the way the farmer's produce connects the people of the city to the land that surrounds them. A group of philosophers has gathered in the shade of a plane tree, their voices low and measured as they discuss the great questions of existence. You recognize some of them, students and colleagues who share your passion for wisdom and truth. They nod in greeting as you pass, but they do not interrupt their discussion. In Athens, philosophical discourse is sacred, not to be disturbed by the mere requirements of social courtesy. The plane tree under which they sit is ancient, its massive trunk scarred by centuries of growth, its broad leaves providing welcome shade from the strengthening sun. The Greeks believe that trees are sacred, that they connect the earth to the heavens, and there is something fitting about the way these philosophers have chosen to meet in the tree's embrace. You continue your walk, entering the central area of the agora. Here, the space opens up into a vast square, surrounded by stoas and temples, shops and administrative buildings. The square is paved with large stones, fitted together so perfectly that no mortar is needed to hold them in place. The stones are worn smooth by the feet of countless citizens, and they tell the story of Athens in the way they have been shaped by human use. In the center of the square stands the altar of the 12 gods, a simple stone structure that serves as the heart of the agora. From this altar, all distances in Attica are measured, making it literally the center of the Athenian world. The altar is not elaborate, just a rectangular stone platform, but it represents something profound: the idea that the divine is present in the everyday world, that the sacred and the secular are not separate but intertwined. You pause near the altar, feeling the weight of its significance. This is where citizens come to seek refuge, where slaves can claim sanctuary, where the gods themselves are believed to dwell among mortals. The simplicity of the altar is deceiving, for it represents the most complex ideas about justice, mercy, and the relationship between humans and the divine. The morning sun is now higher, casting shorter shadows, but the heat is still gentle, warming without oppressing. The light has a quality unique to Athens, clear and golden, as if the air itself has been purified by the wisdom of the philosophers who have walked these streets. This is the light that illuminates the Parthenon, that makes the marble temples glow like jewels, that transforms the ordinary activities of daily life into something sacred. Around the square, the stoas provide shade and shelter for the hundreds of people who conduct their business here. The buildings are elegant but not ostentatious, designed to serve the needs of the community rather than to display the wealth of their builders. This is the democratic ideal made manifest in stone. The idea that public buildings should serve the public good rather than private vanity. You walk slowly around the perimeter of the square, observing the quiet bustle of Athenian life. Here, a group of elderly men discusses the latest political developments, their voices calm and measured. Their arguments based on reason rather than passion. There, a young mother teaches her daughter to count, using olives as counters, the child's face bright with the joy of learning. The pace of life in the agora is deliberate, unhurried, allowing time for reflection and genuine human connection. People greet each other with courtesy and genuine interest, inquiring about family and health, sharing news and opinions. This is not the impersonal bustle of a modern marketplace, but the warm interaction of a genuine community. You pass a small temple dedicated to Hephaestus, the god of craftsmen and artisans. The temple is beautifully proportioned, its Doric columns perfectly aligned, its pediments decorated with scenes of the god's work. Inside, you can see the statue of Hephaestus, carved from marble by one of the greatest sculptors of the age. The god is depicted not as a distant deity, but as a skilled craftsman, someone who understands the dignity of honest labor. The temple is surrounded by workshops, where skilled artisans practice their trades. You can hear the gentle tapping of hammers, the soft scraping of chisels, the quiet concentration of men and women who have devoted their lives to creating beautiful and useful things. There is something deeply satisfying about these sounds, a reminder that human hands can transform raw materials into objects of beauty and utility. A young bronze worker is putting the finishing touches on a small statue, his movements precise and confident. The bronze has been heated and shaped, cooled and polished, until it gleams like gold in the morning light. The statue depicts a young athlete, his body perfectly proportioned, his face serene with the concentration of someone who has achieved perfect balance between physical and mental discipline. You watch the craftsman work, appreciating the skill that has gone into creating this beautiful object. The bronze has been mixed according to ancient formulas, containing exactly the right proportions of copper and tin to create the desired strength and color. The techniques used to shape and finish the metal have been passed down through generations of craftsmen, each adding their own refinements to the collective knowledge. The morning air grows warmer, but it remains pleasant, carrying the scents of olive oil and incense, of fresh bread and blooming flowers. The sounds of the agora create a gentle symphony. Voices in conversation, the soft clatter of pottery, the rhythmic sounds of craftsmen at work. All of these sounds blend together into a peaceful harmony that seems to embrace and comfort all who enter this sacred space. You feel your breathing slow, your heartbeat matching the unhurried rhythm of Athenian life. There is no urgency here, no need to rush toward any particular destination. The agora is a place for wandering, for observation, for the quiet contemplation that leads to wisdom. Each step reveals new sights, new sounds, new opportunities for reflection and understanding. The light continues to grow softer, more golden, as if the sun itself is settling into the peaceful pace of philosophical contemplation. The shadows cast by the stoas and temples create pools of coolness that invite rest and reflection. You feel your eyelids growing heavy, your body relaxing into the comfortable rhythm of the morning. The sounds of the agora grow gentler, more distant, like the murmur of a peaceful stream. The voices of the philosophers blend with the soft sounds of commerce, creating a lullaby of human activity that is both stimulating and soothing. This is the sound of civilization at its best, of human beings working together to create beauty and meaning. Your steps become slower, more deliberate, as you allow yourself to sink deeper into the peaceful atmosphere of the agora. The marble columns seem to pulse with a gentle rhythm. The ancient stones beneath your feet seem to vibrate with the accumulated wisdom of centuries. You feel yourself becoming part of this timeless scene, connected to the eternal rhythms of human thought and activity. The morning breeze carries the scent of olive groves and sacred temples, of honest labor and quiet contemplation. You breathe deeply, filling your lungs with the clean air of ancient Athens, feeling the oxygen flow through your body, bringing peace and clarity to every cell. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the gentle sounds of the agora fade into a soft murmur. You drift, slowly, peacefully, into a state of deep contemplation, where the boundaries between observer and observed, between philosopher and philosophy, begin to blur. The ancient stones beneath your feet seem to support you like a gentle cradle, and the voices of the philosophers blend into a soothing lullaby of wisdom and truth. You drift into a deep, restful state, where the morning light of the agora filters through your consciousness like sunlight through marble columns, and the gentle sounds of ancient Athens carry you deeper, deeper into perfect, peaceful contemplation. You find yourself walking slowly, gently, up the gentle slope that leads toward the sacred hill of the Acropolis. The morning sun has climbed higher now, casting longer shadows that provide welcome relief from the growing warmth. Your footsteps are soft, unhurried, as you make your way along the ancient path worn smooth by countless pilgrims and philosophers who have made this same journey in search of wisdom and beauty. The path winds gradually upward, through groves of olive trees whose silver-green leaves rustle softly in the morning breeze. The trees are ancient, some planted by the very founders of Athens, their gnarled trunks speaking of centuries of patient growth. Their branches provide dappled shade, creating patterns of light and shadow that dance gently across the ground. You pause beneath one particularly magnificent olive tree, its trunk so broad that it would take 3 men with outstretched arms to encircle it. The bark is deeply grooved, marked by the passage of time, yet the tree still produces fruit, small black olives that will be harvested in the autumn and pressed into the golden oil that lights the lamps of Athens. Leaning against the trunk of this ancient tree, you see a young man, perhaps 20 years old, with the lean build of an athlete and the thoughtful expression of a student. His himation is simple but clean, and he holds a small wax tablet in his hands, the kind used by students to practice their writing. He looks up as you approach, his eyes bright with curiosity and respect. "Good morning, teacher," he says, his voice soft and melodious. "I have been waiting here, hoping you might have time to discuss a question that has been troubling me." You settle yourself comfortably against the tree, feeling the rough bark through your cloak, grounding yourself in the physical world even as your mind prepares to explore the realm of ideas. The young man's eagerness is touching, but you sense that he needs to learn the patience that comes with true wisdom. What question brings you to seek wisdom beneath this sacred tree, you ask, your voice calm and encouraging. The young man shifts slightly, organizing his thoughts. I have been wondering about beauty, teacher. Yesterday, I watched the sunset from the walls of the city, and I was overwhelmed by its magnificence. The sky turned gold and crimson. The marble of the Parthenon seemed to glow like fire, and I felt as if I were in the presence of something divine. Wow. He pauses, his eyes distant as he recalls the experience. But then I thought, what is beauty? Is it something that exists in the sunset itself? Or is it something that exists only in my mind, in my response to what I see? And if beauty is real, how can we know it? How can we be certain that what seems beautiful to me is truly beautiful? You nod slowly, appreciating the depth of his question. The morning air is still cool here in the shade of the olive tree, and a gentle breeze carries the scent of wild thyme and rosemary from the hillsides. The sounds of the city below are muffled, distant, allowing for the kind of quiet contemplation that such questions require. Tell me, boringHistoryRoom, young friend, when you speak of the sunset, do you remember only the colors, or do you remember other things as well? The student closes his eyes, his face peaceful as he recalls the experience. I remember the warmth of the sun on my face, the way the light seemed to make everything clean and clear. I remember the sound of the wind in the olive trees, and the distant music of a flute player somewhere in the city. I remember the scent of bread baking in the ovens below, and the feeling of completeness, as if everything in the world was exactly as it should be. Ah, you say, settling more comfortably against the tree. So beauty, for you, was not merely what you saw, but what you experienced with all your senses, and perhaps with something deeper than the senses. Nani. The young man nods eagerly, then pauses, his brow furrowing with thought. But teacher, if beauty involves so many different elements, how can we ever define it? How can we say what beauty truly is? You smile, remembering your own youth, your own burning desire to capture truth in neat definitions. Around you, the olive tree continues its ancient work, drawing nutrients from the earth, converting sunlight into growth, completely unconcerned with human definitions of beauty or truth. Perhaps you say slowly, we should not ask what beauty is, but rather what beauty does. When you experience that sunset, how did it change you? What did it make you want to do, or be, or understand? The student considers this carefully. A small bird lands on a branch above your heads, a nightingale perhaps, and begins to sing. Its song is pure and clear, a melody that seems to capture something essential about the morning, about the peace of this shaded place, about the joy of learning. It made me want to be better, the young man says finally. Not just to see more beautiful things, but to be more beautiful myself, to live in a way that was harmonious, like the colors in the sunset, to speak truly, to act justly, to think clearly. Oh. You nod, feeling the warmth of the sun as it filters through the olive leaves. And do you think, young friend, that this response of yours, this desire to become more beautiful yourself, is something that the sunset created in you, or something that it revealed, something that was already there, waiting to be awakened? The question hangs in the air like the scent of wildflower, sweet and complex. The student is quiet for a long moment, his eyes fixed on the distant marble columns of the Parthenon, visible through the spaces between the olive leaves. I think, he says slowly, I think it revealed something, because I have felt that same desire before. When I heard Homer's poetry recited, when I watched the athletes competing in the gymnasium, when I listened to you and the other philosophers discussing justice and truth, it is as if there is something in me that recognizes beauty, that responds to it, that wants to participate in it. And what do you think that something is, you ask? Your voice gentle, encouraging. The morning air is growing warmer, but the shade of the olive tree remains cool and pleasant. The sounds of the city below continue their gentle murmur. The voices of merchants and citizens, the soft clatter of pottery, and the distant bleating of goats. These sounds do not disturb the peaceful atmosphere, but rather add to it, creating a symphony of human life that is itself a kind of beauty. I think, the young man says, his voice growing more confident, I think it is the soul, the part of us that is not just body, but something more. Something that can recognize truth and beauty and goodness, because it is somehow related to them, somehow made of the same substance. You lean forward slightly, your interest genuinely engaged. And if that is true, if the soul can recognize beauty because it is somehow related to beauty, what does that tell us about the nature of beauty itself? The student's eyes light up with understanding. It means that beauty is not just something we make up, not just our personal preferences or opinion. It means that beauty is real, that it exists, that it is part of the fundamental structure of the universe, like mathematics, or logic, or justice. And yet you say, playing the role of questioner, we know that people disagree about what is beautiful. The same sunset that moved you so deeply might leave another person completely unmoved. How do we account for these differences? The young man frowns, grappling with this challenge. A gentle breeze stirs the olive leaves above your heads, creating a soft, rustling sound that is both soothing and conducive to thought. The dappled light shifts and changes, painting new patterns on the ground. A visual reminder of the way truth itself sometimes seems to shift and change depending on how we look at it. Perhaps, he says slowly, perhaps not all souls are equally awake. Perhaps some people have developed their ability to recognize beauty, while others have not. Like the way some people can hear the subtle differences in musical notes. while others cannot. The music is the same, but the listeners are different. You nod approvingly, but continue to probe. And what determines whether a soul is awake or asleep to beauty? Is it something we are born with, or something we can cultivate through practice and education? The student considers this carefully, his fingers absently tracing patterns in the soft earth at the base of the olive tree. The soil is rich and dark, mixed with the fallen leaves of countless seasons, and it speaks of the patient work of time and weather in creating the conditions for growth. I think it must be something we can cultivate, he says finally. Otherwise, why would we have schools? Why would we study music and poetry and mathematics? Why would we seek out teachers like you, if wisdom were simply a matter of natural talent? Indeed, you agree, feeling the pleasant warmth of the sun on your face as it filters through the leaves. And yet, surely some people do seem naturally more inclined toward wisdom and beauty than others. How do we understand this apparent contradiction? The young man is quiet for a moment, listening to the gentle sounds around him. The nightingale has begun to sing again, its voice pure and effortless, a natural music that seems to embody the very beauty they have been discussing. From the city below comes the soft sound of water flowing from the public fountains, the gentle voices of women drawing water for their households. Perhaps, he says thoughtfully, it is like tending a garden. Every soul has the capacity for wisdom and beauty, just as every patch of earth has the capacity to grow plants. But some soils are naturally more fertile. Some receive more sunlight. Some are better protected from harsh winds. And even the most fertile soil will produce nothing without care, without the right seeds, without patient cultivation. You smile, pleased with the metaphor. And what would be the seeds of wisdom? What would be the cultivation that awakens the soul to beauty? The student's eyes brighten with enthusiasm. Questions, he says. Questions like the ones you are asking me now. Before I met you, I experienced beauty, but I never thought deeply about what it meant. I never questioned my responses, never tried to understand why certain things moved me so deeply. It was only when I began to ask questions, to examine my own thoughts and feelings, that I began to truly see. And what is it that you see now, that you did not see before? The young man gazes up through the olive leaves toward the Parthenon, its marble columns visible in the distance, perfectly proportioned according to the mathematical principles that govern all beautiful things. The temple seems to float in the morning light, a testament to the human capacity to create beauty that reflects the eternal patterns of truth. I see connections, he says slowly. I see that the same principles that make the Parthenon beautiful also make a mathematical proof beautiful, also make a just action beautiful. There is a harmony, a proportion, a rightness that runs through all truly beautiful things. And when I recognize this harmony, when I align myself with it, I feel as if I am participating in something larger than myself. You nod, feeling the deep satisfaction that comes from witnessing a young mind discovering truth. The morning air is filled with the scent of wild herbs, oregano and thyme, mint and rosemary, growing wild on the hillsides around Athens. These plants have been here for centuries, their roots deep in the soil, their leaves reaching toward the sun, embodying the same principles of growth and harmony that govern all life. And do you think, you ask gently, that this harmony you perceive, this rightness, is something that human beings create, or something that we discover? The student considers this carefully, his eyes following the flight of a small butterfly as it moves from flower to flower among the wild herbs. The butterfly's movements are seemingly random, yet there is a pattern to them, a logic that serves the flower's need for pollination and the butterfly's need for nectar. "I think we discover it," he says finally. "The harmony was there before we noticed it, just as the mathematical relationships were there before mathematicians discovered them. We don't create beauty. We participate in it. We learn to recognize it. We train ourselves to respond to it more perfectly. And if that is true, you say, your voice growing softer, more meditative, what does it suggest about the nature of the universe itself? What kind of cosmos produces beings capable of recognizing and responding to beauty?" The question hangs in the air like the morning mist, gradually settling into the student's consciousness. The sounds around you seem to grow softer, more distant, as if the world itself is leaning in to hear his response. The olive tree above you continues its ancient work, its roots drawing sustenance from the earth, its leaves converting sunlight into life, completely unconscious of the philosophical discussion taking place in its shade. "It suggests," the young man says slowly, his voice filled with wonder, "that the universe itself is beautiful. That beauty is not just something we add to the world, but something that is woven into the very fabric of existence. That when we recognize beauty, we are recognizing something true about the nature of reality itself." You feel a deep peace settling over you, the contentment that comes from sharing in the discovery of truth. The morning light, filtering through the olive leaves, creates patterns of incredible complexity and beauty, each leaf casting its own shadow, each shadow shifting and changing as the breeze moves the branches. Yet there is an order to this complexity, a mathematical precision that governs the angles of light and shadow, the spacing of leaves, the curve of branches reaching toward the sun. And if beauty is woven into the fabric of existence, you say, your voice barely above a whisper, what does that tell us about how we should live? The student closes his eyes, his face peaceful and contemplative. The sounds of the city below seem to fade away, leaving only the gentle rustling of leaves, the distant song of birds, the soft whisper of wind through the olive groves. These natural sounds create a kind of music, a harmony that seems to embody the very beauty they have been discussing. It tells us, he says quietly, that we should live beautifully, that we should align our thoughts and actions with the same principles that make the sunset beautiful, that make the Parthenon beautiful, that make a just action beautiful. that we should seek harmony, proportion, truth in everything we do, one or. And how do we know when we are living beautifully? You ask, your voice now so soft that it seems to blend with the whisper of the wind. The young man's breathing has become slow and regular, his body completely relaxed against the trunk of the olive tree. The morning sun continues to filter through the leaves, creating a gentle, shifting pattern of light and shadow that seems to pulse with the rhythm of his heartbeat. "We know," he says, his voice dreamy and peaceful, "because we feel it, the same recognition that allows us to perceive beauty in the sunset, allows us to perceive beauty in our own lives. When we act justly, when we think clearly, when we speak truly, we feel that same sense of harmony, of rightness, of participating in something larger than ourselves." Now, you nod, feeling your own breathing slow to match his peaceful rhythm. The conversation has reached a natural conclusion, not because all questions have been answered, but because the deepest questions lead not to answers but to a state of wonder, a recognition that the mystery of beauty is too vast and profound to be captured in words alone. The olive tree continues its ancient work above you, its roots deep in the sacred soil of Attica, its branches reaching toward the eternal light of the sun. The sounds of the city below grow softer, more distant, like the gentle murmur of a stream far away. The morning air carries the scent of wild flowers and sacred herbs, of earth warmed by the sun and stones shaped by human hands. You feel your eyelids growing heavy, your body sinking deeper into the embrace of the ancient tree. The student beside you has grown quiet, his breathing slow and peaceful, his face serene with the contentment that comes from touching something true and beautiful. The light filtering through the olive leaves grows softer, more golden, as if the sun itself is settling into a more contemplative mood. The shadows deepen, creating pools of coolness that invite rest and reflection. You feel yourself drifting, floating on the gentle current of philosophical wonder, carried deeper into the mystery of beauty and truth. The nightingale continues its song, its voice weaving in and out of your consciousness like a thread of pure melody. The sound seems to come from very far away, yet also from very close, as if the bird were singing not just in the tree above you, but in the very center of your being. Your breathing becomes even slower, deeper, more rhythmic. Each breath carries away the last vestiges of ordinary consciousness, replacing them with a profound sense of peace and understanding. The questions you have been exploring seem to resolve themselves, not into answers, but into a deeper appreciation of the mystery itself. The scent of olive oil and wild herbs fills the air, mixing with the warm smell of earth and the clean fragrance of mountain air. These are the scents of ancient Athens, of a world where wisdom and beauty were valued above all else, where the pursuit of truth was considered the highest calling of human life. You feel yourself settling deeper into this peaceful state, your mind growing quiet, your thoughts slowing to match the gentle rhythm of your breathing. The morning light continues to filter through the leaves, soft and golden, creating a warm glow that seems to emanate from within your own consciousness. The sounds of the city fade away completely, leaving only the gentle whisper of wind through the olive groves, the distant song of birds, the soft murmur of your own breathing. These sounds blend together into a kind of natural symphony, a harmony that seems to embody the very principles of beauty you have been discussing. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the morning breeze carries the scent of sacred herbs through the olive groves. You drift slowly, peacefully, into a state of deep contemplation, where the boundaries between student and teacher, between questioner and question, begin to blur. The ancient olive tree above you seems to pulse with a gentle rhythm, its roots connecting you to the earth, its branches connecting you to the sky, and you feel yourself becoming part of this timeless cycle of growth and wisdom. You drift into a deep, restful state, where the morning light of ancient Athens filters through your consciousness like sunlight through olive leaves, and the gentle wisdom of philosophical inquiry carries you deeper, deeper, into perfect, peaceful understanding. You awaken slowly, gently, from your peaceful contemplation beneath the olive tree. The sun has moved higher in the sky, casting shorter shadows, and you feel the natural hunger that comes with the middle of the day. Your young student has departed, his mind filled with new questions to ponder, and you find yourself alone with the ancient rhythms of appetite and satisfaction that govern all living things. You rise slowly from your resting place, feeling the rough bark of the olive tree against your palm as you push yourself to your feet. Your body feels relaxed, renewed, as if the philosophical discussion has nourished not just your mind, but your physical being as well. This is the gift of true dialogue, the way that the pursuit of wisdom feeds both soul and body. You gather your simple hymation around your shoulders and begin to walk slowly down the hillside. Your destination is a small spring that bubbles up from the rocks not far from the base of the Acropolis, a place where the water is pure and cool, where the sound of flowing water creates a natural music that soothes the spirit. The path winds gently downward, through groves of olive trees and stands of wild herbs. The air is warmer now, but still pleasant, carrying the scents of oregano and thyme, of wild mint and rosemary. These herbs have been growing on the hillsides of Attica for thousands of years, their roots deep in the rocky soil, their leaves reaching toward the Mediterranean sun. You pause to gather a few sprigs of wild mint, crushing the leaves gently between your fingers to release their fragrance. The scent is sharp and clean, refreshing, like the mountain air itself. You will add these leaves to your water, creating a simple but refreshing drink that will complement your modest meal. As you walk, you notice the way the light falls differently at this time of day. The shadows are shorter, sharper, creating clear contrasts between light and dark. The marble columns of the Parthenon, visible through the trees, seem to glow with an inner light. Their perfect proportions a testament to the mathematical harmony that underlies all beauty. You come upon a small clearing where the spring emerges from a cluster of rocks. The water bubbles up from deep within the earth, clear and cold, tasting of the limestone caves through which it has traveled. The spring is surrounded by a small grove of plane trees, their broad leaves providing welcome shade, their roots drinking deeply from the water that flows beneath the ground. This is one of the sacred springs of Athens, blessed by the nymphs who are said to dwell in all flowing water. The ancient Greeks believed that water is the source of life, that it carries within it the essence of the divine. And there is something deeply peaceful about the sound of this spring, the way it gurgles and whispers as it flows over the smooth stones. You kneel beside the spring, cupping your hands to drink deeply of the cool water. It tastes of minerals and earth, of the deep places where sunlight never reaches. Yet it is clean and pure, filtered through layers of rock and soil until it emerges into the light transformed. The water is a gift from the earth itself, a reminder of the generosity of the natural world. You splash some of the cool water on your face, feeling it trickle down your cheeks and neck. The sensation is refreshing, cleansing, washing away the dust of the morning's walk and the accumulated thoughts of your philosophical discussion. Water has this power to renew and restore, to return us to the simple clarity of physical existence. From your simple cloth bag, you withdraw the modest provisions you have brought for your midday meal. A piece of barley bread, dark and dense, made from grain grown on the fertile plains of Attica. A small chunk of cheese, white and crumbly, made from the milk of goats that graze on the hillsides around the city. A handful of olives, black and rich, from the ancient trees that are sacred to Athena. You arrange these simple foods on a flat stone beside the spring, creating a humble altar of sustenance. The bread is coarse but nourishing, made from grain that has been ground between stones and baked in clay ovens heated with wood from the olive groves. The cheese is sharp and salty, aged in caves where the temperature remains constant, where time and beneficial molds work their ancient magic. The olives are perhaps the most precious of your provision. Each one represents months of patient growth. The olive tree drawing nutrients from the rocky soil, converting sunlight and water into the oil that will light lamps and nourish bodies throughout the winter. The olives are cured in salt and herbs, their bitterness transformed into something rich and complex. You break the bread slowly, deliberately, feeling the rough texture of the grain between your fingers. The bread is dense and chewy, requiring patience to eat, but it is deeply satisfying, filling the belly with the steady energy needed for physical labor or mental work. This is the bread of the common people, the foundation of life in ancient Athens. You eat slowly, meditatively, allowing each bite to register fully before taking the next. The flavors are simple but profound. The sweetness of the grain, the salt of the sea that seasoned the cheese, the complex richness of the olive oil. These are the tastes that have sustained human civilization for thousands of years. The basic elements that allow the body to function and the mind to think. Between bites, you sip water from the spring, sometimes adding a few leaves of wild mint to create a refreshing drink. The mint adds a bright note to the mineral taste of the water, awakening the palate, clearing the mind. The combination of food and drink creates a simple but complete meal, providing everything the body needs to continue its work. A small lizard darts across the rocks near the spring, pausing to bask in a patch of sunlight. Its movements are quick but graceful, perfectly adapted to its environment. You watch it for a moment, appreciating the simple beauty of this small creature, the way it exists without anxiety or ambition, content to be exactly what it is. Oh. The sound of the spring continues its gentle music, a constant whisper that seems to speak of the eternal flow of life itself. Water moves from the sea to the clouds, from the clouds to the earth, from the earth back to the sea, in an endless cycle that connects all living things. This spring is part of that great circulation, a momentary pause in water's journey from sky to sea. You finish your simple meal, feeling the satisfaction that comes from nourishing the body with pure, wholesome food. The bread has provided substance. The cheese has added richness. The olives have contributed their complex flavors and essential oils. Together, they have created a meal that is both practical and beautiful, humble yet somehow sacred. You lean back against the smooth trunk of a plane tree, feeling the rough bark against your shoulders. The tree is ancient, its roots deep in the earth beside the spring, its branches reaching high into the sky. The Greeks believe that trees are bridges between earth and heaven, that they carry messages between the mortal and divine realms. The afternoon air is warm but pleasant, stirred by gentle breezes that carry the scents of wild herbs and blooming flowers. The light has a different quality now, less golden than the morning light, more white and clear, revealing every detail of the landscape with perfect clarity. This is the light of full consciousness, of complete awakening to the present moment. You close your eyes, listening to the sounds around you. The spring continues its gentle murmur. The plane tree's leaves rustle softly in the breeze. Somewhere in the distance, a shepherd's pipe plays a simple melody. These sounds blend together into a natural symphony, a harmony that seems to embody the same principles of beauty that you discussed with your student. You think about the conversation, about the questions that were raised, about the insights that emerged. The discussion has settled into your consciousness like sediment in still water, clarifying, deepening, revealing new layers of meaning. This is how wisdom grows, not through the accumulation of facts, but through the patient exploration of fundamental questions. The spring beside you continues its work, bringing water from the deep places of the earth to the surface, where it can nourish plants and animals, where it can quench the thirst of travelers and philosophers. The water asks nothing in return. It simply flows, following the natural laws that govern all movement, all life. You open your eyes, looking at the water as it emerges from the rocks. Each bubble, each ripple, Each drop is unique, yet all are part of the same flowing stream. This is perhaps a metaphor for consciousness itself. The way individual thoughts and experiences arise from some deeper source, flow through awareness, and return to the source from which they came. The afternoon light filtering through the plane tree's leaves creates patterns of extraordinary complexity and beauty. Each leaf casts its own shadow. Each shadow shifts and changes as the breeze moves the branches. Yet there is an order to this complexity, a mathematical precision that governs the angles of light and shadow, the spacing of leaves, the curve of branches reaching toward the sun. You feel your breathing slow, your heart rate settling into a peaceful rhythm. The simple meal has satisfied your hunger. The cool water has refreshed your body. The beauty of this place has nourished your spirit. There is something deeply satisfying about this combination of physical and spiritual nourishment. The way the body and soul work together to create a complete human experience. The sounds around you seem to grow softer, more distant, as if the world itself is settling into a more contemplative mood. The spring's gentle murmur becomes a kind of natural lullaby. The rustling of leaves becomes a whispered conversation between the tree and the wind. These sounds do not disturb the peace, but rather deepen it, creating a cocoon of tranquility around your resting place. You think about the nature of satisfaction, about the difference between appetite and greed, between need and want. The simple meal you have just eaten has completely satisfied your hunger. Yet it contained nothing exotic or expensive, nothing that would impress the wealthy or powerful. This is perhaps another kind of wisdom, the understanding that true satisfaction comes not from accumulation but from appreciation. The lizard that you noticed earlier has returned, or perhaps it is a different lizard, and it sits motionless on a sun-warmed rock, its eyes bright and alert. The creature seems completely present, completely alive to the moment, without the burden of memory or anticipation that so often clouds human consciousness. You close your eyes again, allowing yourself to sink deeper into the peaceful atmosphere of this place. The spring continues its eternal work. The plane tree continues its patient growth. The earth continues its slow rotation around the sun. These natural rhythms provide a foundation, a sense of continuity and stability that allows the mind to rest. The afternoon air carries the sense of the meal you have just eaten, the wholesome smell of barley bread, the sharp fragrance of goat cheese, the rich aroma of olive oil. These scents mingle with the natural fragrances of the place. Wild herbs and blooming flowers. Earth warmed by the sun and stone shaped by flowing water. You feel your body relaxing completely, your muscles releasing the tension of the day's walking and thinking. The plane tree against which you lean provides perfect support. Its trunk solid and reassuring, its shade cool and comfortable. You are held, supported, cradled by the natural world, by the ancient rhythms of earth and sky. The sounds of the spring seem to grow more musical, more hypnotic, as if the water itself is singing a lullaby. The melody is simple but profound, a sound that speaks of the eternal flow of life, of the way all things are connected in the great circulation of existence. You feel yourself beginning to drift, to flow with this natural rhythm. Your breathing becomes even slower, deeper, more rhythmic. Each breath carries away the last vestiges of ordinary consciousness, replacing them with a profound sense of peace and contentment. The simple meal has nourished your body. The philosophical discussion has nourished your mind. And now this place of natural beauty is nourishing your spirit. The light filtering through the plane tree's leaves grows softer, more golden, as if the sun itself is settling into a more contemplative mood. The shadows deepen, creating pools of coolness that invite rest and reflection. You feel yourself drifting, floating on the gentle current of natural harmony, carried deeper into the mystery of existence. The spring continues its eternal song, its voice weaving in and out of your consciousness like a thread of pure melody. The sound seems to come from very far away, yet also from very close, as if the water were flowing not just beside you, but through the very center of your being. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the afternoon breeze carries the scent of wild herbs and sacred water. You drift, slowly, peacefully, into a state of deep contentment, where the boundaries between hunger and satisfaction, between need and fulfillment, begin to blur. The ancient plane tree above you seems to pulse with a gentle rhythm, its roots connecting you to the earth, its branches connecting you to the sky, and you feel yourself becoming part of this timeless cycle of nourishment and growth. You drift into a deep, restful state where the afternoon light of ancient Athens filters through your consciousness like sunlight through plane tree leaves. And the gentle music of the sacred spring carries you deeper, deeper, into perfect, peaceful satisfaction. You stir slowly, gently, as the afternoon light begins to soften and fade. The sun has moved across the sky, casting longer shadows, and you feel the natural rhythm of the day drawing toward its peaceful close. Your body is rested, your mind clear, your spirit refreshed by the simple meal and the quiet hours beside the sacred spring. Now, as evening approaches, you feel drawn to seek a place where you can watch the heavens emerge in all their glory. You rise slowly from your resting place, feeling the smooth trunk of the plane tree against your palm as you push yourself to your feet. The spring continues its eternal murmur, a sound that has become part of your consciousness, a gentle reminder of the flow of life itself. You gather your simple hymation around your shoulders and begin to walk slowly up the hillside. Your destination is a small terrace, a natural ledge of rock that overlooks the city of Athens. From this vantage point, you can see the entire expanse of the city spread out below. The agora with its stoas and temples, the residential districts with their modest houses, the harbor of Piraeus in the distance where the ships come and go carrying the trade that sustains the city. The path winds upward through groves of olive trees and stands of wild herbs, The air is cooler now, stirred by gentle breezes that carry the sense of the day's end. The smell of bread baking in evening ovens, the fragrance of incense burning in the temples, the clean smell of stone that has been warmed by the sun and is now beginning to cool. You pause occasionally, not from fatigue, but from a desire to savor each moment of this peaceful ascent. The light is changing, becoming more golden, more mellow, as Helios prepares to complete his daily journey across the heavens. The shadows are longer now, creating pools of coolness that invite contemplation. You notice the way the light falls differently at this time of day, more gentle, more forgiving, revealing the beauty of things without the harsh clarity of noon. The marble columns of the Parthenon, visible through the trees, seem to glow with an inner light, their perfect proportions a testament to the mathematical harmony that underlies all creation. A small owl hoots softly from a nearby olive tree, the sacred bird of Athena, goddess of wisdom. The sound is not harsh or disturbing, but rather musical, part of the symphony of evening sounds that marks the transition from day to night. The owl's call reminds you of the connection between wisdom and the gathering darkness. The way deep understanding often comes not in the bright light of day, but in the quiet hours of reflection. You reach the small terrace, a flat expanse of rock that provides a perfect viewing platform. The stone is smooth, worn by centuries of weather and the feet of countless observers who have come here to watch the heavens. You settle yourself comfortably, your back against a large boulder, your eyes fixed on the western horizon where the sun is beginning its descent. The city spreads out below you, a living tapestry of human activity and natural beauty. The houses are small and modest, their white walls glowing in the evening light, their red tile roofs creating a warm pattern against the green of the olive groves. Smoke rises from cooking fires, thin columns of gray that dissipate into the clear air, carrying the sense of the evening meal. The agora is still busy with activity, but the pace has slowed, become more relaxed. You can see the tiny figures of people moving through the stoves, merchants closing their shops, citizens gathering in small groups to discuss the events of the day. The sound of their voices carries faintly on the evening breeze, a gentle murmur that speaks of community and shared life. Beyond the city, the harbor of Piraeus is visible in the distance, its waters reflecting the golden light of the setting sun. Ships are anchored there, their masts creating a forest of vertical lines against the horizontal expanse of the sea. These ships connect Athens to the wider world, carrying goods and ideas, stories and philosophy, binding the city to the great network of Mediterranean civilization. But it is the sky that draws your attention, the vast expanse of blue that is beginning to deepen and change as the sun moves toward the horizon. The blue is not uniform, but varies in intensity and hue, lighter near the horizon, deeper overhead, with subtle gradations that speak of the atmosphere's complex interaction with sunlight. You think about the nature of the sky, about what it represents in the great order of things. The Greeks believe that the heavens are the realm of the gods, that the stars and planets are divine beings moving in perfect harmony across the celestial sphere. But there is also a mathematical beauty to the sky, a precision in the movements of the celestial bodies that suggests underlying laws, fundamental principles that govern all existence. The sun continues its descent, growing larger and more orange as it approaches the horizon. The light becomes more golden, more warm, casting long shadows across the landscape. The olive trees seem to glow, their silver-green leaves catching the light like thousands of tiny mirrors. The marble of the Parthenon reflects the golden light, transforming the temple into something that seems almost to be made of light itself. You breathe deeply, filling your lungs with the clean evening air. The oxygen flows through your body, bringing life and energy to every cell, connecting you to the same breath that animates all living things. This is perhaps the most fundamental connection, the way all creatures share the same air, the same life-giving substance that flows from the sky to the earth and back again. A gentle breeze stirs the air, carrying the scents of the day's end. Wild herbs release their fragrances as the temperature begins to drop. Oregano and thyme, mint and rosemary, creating a natural perfume that is both soothing and stimulating. The scent of olive oil drifts from the city below, mixed with the smoke of cooking fires and the faint fragrance of incense from the temples. The sun touches the horizon, a perfect golden disk balanced on the edge of the world. The light becomes more intense, more concentrated, as if all the day's illumination is being focused into this single moment of perfect beauty. The sky around the sun begins to change color, from blue to gold to orange to red, a gradual transformation that seems to happen both quickly and slowly. You watch this transformation with the attention of a philosopher, not just observing but contemplating, seeking to understand what this daily miracle reveals about the nature of existence. The sunset is both completely predictable and completely unique, governed by laws that never change yet manifested in ways that are never exactly repeated. The colors in the sky deepen and spread, reaching across the entire western horizon. Orange and red and gold blend together in combinations that no human artist could imagine, let alone recreate. The clouds, if there are any, become canvases for this celestial painting, their edges outlined in gold, their centers glowing with reflected light. You think about the relationship between the observer and the observed, about whether the beauty of the sunset exists independently of your perception of it. This is the question your student asked this morning. And now, experiencing the sunset yourself, you feel the weight of the mystery. The beauty is clearly there, in the sky, in the light, in the mathematical precision of the Earth's rotation, yet without consciousness to perceive it, without a mind to appreciate it. Would it still be beautiful? The sun sinks lower, disappearing gradually behind the distant hills. The light becomes more diffuse, more ethereal, as if the very air is glowing with accumulated sunlight. The shadows lengthen, creeping across the landscape like gentle fingers. bringing the coolness and peace of evening to the sun-warmed earth. As the sun disappears, the sky continues to glow, painted with colors that seem to come from within rather than from any external source. This is the afterglow, the way the atmosphere continues to scatter light even after the sun has set, creating a luminous twilight that bridges the gap between day and night. The first stars begin to appear, faint pinpricks of light in the deepening blue of the sky. You recognize some of them: the bright star Sirius, the constellation of Orion, the North Star that sailors use to navigate. These stars have been shining for countless ages, their light traveling across the vast distances of space to reach your eyes, connecting you to the infinite depths of the cosmos. You lie back on the smooth rock, looking up at the sky as more and more stars emerge. The stone is still warm from the day's sun, comfortable against your back, grounding you in the physical world even as your mind reaches toward the heavens. The warmth seeps through your hymation, relaxing your muscles, preparing your body for the rest and renewal of night. The stars continue to appear. Dozens, then hundreds, then thousands of tiny lights scattered across the vast dome of the sky. The Greeks have mapped these stars, given them names, woven them into stories that explain the movements of the gods and heroes. The constellation of the Great Bear, the Swan, the Eagle, each one a chapter in the great story of the cosmos. You think about the nature of the stars, about what they represent in the great order of things. The ancient Greeks believed that the stars are fixed in a crystal sphere that rotates around the earth, carrying the celestial bodies in their eternal dance. But there is also a deeper mystery: the question of what the stars are made of, why they shine, how they relate to the earthly realm. The Milky Way begins to emerge, a faint band of light stretching across the sky. The Greeks call it the River of Heaven, believing it to be the path that souls take on their journey to the afterlife. The light is subtle, almost invisible, yet it speaks of unimaginable depths, of distances so vast that the mind cannot truly comprehend them. You breathe slowly, rhythmically, allowing the peace of the evening to settle into your consciousness. The air is cool now, refreshing after the warmth of the day, carrying the scents of night-blooming flowers and the distant sea. Your body feels completely relaxed, supported by the warm stone, embraced by the cool air, connected to the eternal rhythms of earth and sky. The sounds of the city below have grown softer, more distant. As Athens settles into the quiet of evening, you can hear the distant sound of a lyre, someone playing a simple melody, the notes rising and falling like the gentle breathing of the earth itself. The music is not complex or demanding, but rather soothing, meditative, a human response to the beauty of the night. More stars appear, the sky becoming a vast tapestry of light and darkness. Each star is a sun. You realize, perhaps with its own worlds, its own possibilities for life and consciousness. The thought is both humbling and inspiring. a reminder of how small the earth is in the vast cosmos, yet how precious, how rare, how beautiful. You think about the relationship between the finite and the infinite, about how human beings, limited in time and space, can nevertheless contemplate the eternal and the boundless. This is perhaps the greatest mystery of consciousness. The way a small, mortal creature can reach beyond itself, can touch something that transcends the boundaries of individual existence. The Parthenon is visible below you, its marble columns glowing faintly in the starlight. The temple seems to bridge the gap between earth and sky, its perfect proportions reflecting the mathematical harmony of the cosmos, its dedication to Athena, acknowledging the divine wisdom that governs all things. The building is both thoroughly human and somehow divine, a testament to the possibility of creating beauty that reflects eternal truth. The night air grows cooler, stirring gently around you like a living thing. The breeze carries the scents of the night, wild jasmine and night blooming cereus, the clean smell of stone that has been washed by dew, the faint fragrance of the sea. These scents are subtle, ethereal, like the whisper of dreams just before sleep. You feel your breathing slow, your heartbeat matching the gentle rhythm of the night. The stars above you seem to pulse with their own rhythm, a cosmic heartbeat that connects all things in the universe. Your individual consciousness begins to merge with this larger rhythm, your thoughts becoming part of the vast meditation of the cosmos. The stone beneath you has cooled, but it retains just enough warmth to feel comforting against your back. The rock is ancient, part of the very foundation of the earth, shaped by forces that predate human existence and will outlast it. Yet in this moment, it is simply a resting place, a point of connection between your body and the eternal earth. The lyre's melody continues, its notes weaving through the night air like threads of silver. The sound is delicate but clear, each note a small offering to the beauty of the evening. You imagine the musician, perhaps a young poet or a seasoned philosopher, sitting in a courtyard somewhere below, pouring their soul into the music as a way of participating in the cosmic harmony. You reflect on the day's journey, from the quiet awakening in your simple home, through the bustling yet peaceful agora, to the thoughtful dialogue beneath the olive tree, to the nourishing meal by the sacred spring, and now to this celestial contemplation above the city. Each moment has been a step in a larger journey, a movement toward deeper understanding, toward a more complete participation in the beauty and truth of existence. The stars seem to grow brighter, their light more piercing as the sky darkens to a deep indigo. You recall the words of your student, his insight that beauty is not something we create, but something we discover, something woven into the fabric of the universe. Here, under the vast canopy of stars, that insight feels more true than ever. The cosmos itself is a work of art, its patterns and rhythms governed by principles that transcend human understanding, yet invite human participation. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the sounds and scents of the night envelop you. The lyre's melody blends with the soft hoot of the owl, the rustle of olive leaves in the breeze, the distant murmur of the sea. These sounds are not separate, but part of a single harmony. A symphony that includes both the human and the natural, the earthly and the divine. Your thoughts turn to the nature of wisdom, the way it emerges not from answers, but from questions. Not from certainty, but from wonder. The stars above you are a reminder of this. Each one a question posed by the universe. Each one an invitation to contemplate the infinite. To be a philosopher is to accept this invitation. To live in a state of perpetual inquiry. To find joy in the act of seeking rather than in the illusion of having found. The night air carries a gentle chill now, but it is refreshing rather than uncomfortable. You pull your himation closer, feeling the rough wool against your skin, grounding you in the physical world even as your mind soars among the stars. The contrast between the warmth of the stone and the coolness of the air creates a perfect balance, a physical reflection of the harmony you seek in thought and action. You open your eyes again, gazing up at the constellations that have guided sailors and poets for centuries. The Great Bear moves slowly across the sky, its stars fixed in their eternal pattern, yet always in motion, always part of the great cosmic dance. You feel a sense of connection to those who have watched these same stars, to the generations of philosophers and dreamers who have sought to understand their meaning. The Parthenon below seems to glow with a quiet radiance, its marble catching the faint light of the stars and the rising moon. The temple is a human creation, yet it feels as eternal as the stars themselves, a bridge between the mortal and the divine, between the finite and the infinite. You think about the hands that shaped those stones, the minds that designed those perfect proportions, the hearts that dedicated their work to Athena, goddess of wisdom. Your breathing becomes slower, deeper, more rhythmic, matching the gentle pulse of the night. Each breath draws in the scents of the evening, wildflowers and sea air, olive oil and sacred herbs. Each breath carries away the last traces of ordinary thought, leaving only a profound sense of peace and wonder. The stars seem to draw closer, their light filling your consciousness with a gentle glow. You feel yourself becoming part of their rhythm, your heartbeat aligning with the slow turning of the celestial sphere. The boundaries between self and cosmos begin to blur, your individual existence merging with the vastness of the universe. The lyre's melody fades into the distance, replaced by the soft whisper of the breeze through the olive trees. The sound is hypnotic, soothing, like the voice of the earth itself, speaking in a language older than words. You listen to this natural music, letting it guide your thoughts deeper into contemplation. Your eyelids grow heavy, the weight of the day's reflections settling into your body like a gentle tide. The stars above you continue their eternal dance, their light a reminder of the timeless beauty that surrounds and permeates all things. You feel yourself drifting, floating on the current of cosmic harmony, carried toward a state of perfect rest. The scents of the night grow softer, more subtle, as if the world itself is preparing for sleep. The fragrance of jasmine mingles with the clean smell of dew on stone. The faint saltiness of the distant sea. These scents anchor you in the present moment, even as your mind reaches toward the infinite. You think one last time of the questions that have guided your day. Questions about beauty and truth, about the nature of the soul and the cosmos. These questions do not demand answers. They invite contemplation. They offer a path toward deeper understanding. To live as a philosopher is to walk this path, to embrace the mystery, to find joy in the eternal act of seeking. The stone beneath you feels like a cradle now, its warmth and solidity a perfect complement to the cool air above. The stars pulse gently in the sky, their light weaving a tapestry of wonder that envelops your consciousness. You feel yourself sinking deeper, deeper, into a state of profound peace, where the boundaries between earth and sky, between self and universe, dissolve completely. The gentle hoot of the owl sounds once more, a final note in the night symphony. The breeze carries the scent of olive groves and sacred herbs, a fragrance that seems to come from the very heart of Athens. You breathe it in, letting it fill your being with the essence of this ancient place. Your thoughts grow quiet, your consciousness merging with the rhythm of the cosmos. The stars above you shine with a light that is both ancient and eternal, a light that has guided philosophers and poets since the beginning of time. You feel yourself becoming part of this light, part of this eternal dance, part of the great mystery that is life itself. You drift, slowly, peacefully, into a deep, restful state, where the starlight of ancient Athens filters through your consciousness like a gentle dream, and the timeless wisdom of the cosmos carries you deeper, deeper, into perfect, peaceful contemplation.